Part 4 is about servicing your vehicle. We'll tell you more in a minute. Part 4 deals with servicing your vehicle, and that's what we're going to show you right now. And it's not that big of a deal. You really have to know the history of your vehicle. You need to know what needs to be serviced, what doesn't need to be serviced, and you need to understand the maintenance that's occurred on your vehicle if you have those records. Oil changes obviously are important. Lubricating the chassis is important, but also what else may go wrong? Maybe a fresh battery because your battery is coming up on 3 years old. Are your hoses, are your belts in good shape? If you're on a 6,000 to 7,000 mile trip, that's something you need to consider. Is your windshield wiper fluid full? Something to check before you leave. And what I always do is carry enough windshield wiper fluid to fill up along the way, so I'm not always having to buy it. And that means using windshield wiper fluid, putting it in the reservoir, and when it gets full, basically either keeping the rest, putting it in the trunk or in the back of the van, and having it available in order to refill it as I go along the way. And if you don't know how to change your oil, do you know how to at least check it? On the Promaster, it's pretty simple. Yellow handle, here's where you fill the oil. Here's where you check the oil, the dipstick, which it's called. And then you've got your fluids pretty much up front. And that's really, really helpful. And then you have a couple other things. This right here is the positive terminal for your battery. That's your negative terminal. And so basically you hook up your jumper cables to those 2 points, and you're ready to go. Something to know if in fact you're going to travel. Something else, if you're going to pull a trailer, it's recommended you check your bearings and their runs every 10,000 miles. I'm not pulling a trailer on this trip, but I thought I'd mention it. People overlook bearings. They think they can pull a trailer and not have to worry ever about something going wrong. When your bearing sees your trailer and pulling the trailer, that also ends. And you don't want to get into that type of situation on the road. Depending on what you're pulling with the trailer, it could be really, really bad. Just to kind of give you an idea of what everything looks like underneath the bed. I keep a lot of things that I will need, and I label everything. So as you can see, this is the tire change kit. That's normally under the front passenger seat in the car. I like to keep it here because I can get to it actually easily as compared to the front seat. If I've got things packed in the van, I can access it from the rear. But I also carry things that are important. Washer fluid. Behind this little area is another secret type of area that I have, an extra gas tank, more gloves, just in case I need to work. And also things like a jack. It's a 2-ton jack. That's easily something that would work on this van. And then that box right there is a complete kit for bearings when I pull my trailer. And so all this is hidden. It's available to me if I need it. And it's going to be hopefully never used, but you never know. Behind the cargo net, I have the backside of the drawers up front, and these carry my heavier duty tools. I've got a drill motor, sledgehammer, I've got hitch, which basically you pull 10,000 pounds. It's just handy to have sockets. I have an impact wrench, and because I have the solar, I can actually operate all that on 120 volts. I used to keep my hand tools under the garage near the rear of the van so I could get out of the van, open the back doors, and have my tools available. I changed that. I want to be able to access those tools from either the back or inside the living area. And so what I've done is behind these sliders, there's a storage space, and you probably can't see it, but there are my tools. Those are my electrical tools, a separate toolbox for that, and a first aid kit. All of that is available to me if I need it, from both ends of the van. And I think that's more helpful than struggling or having to leave the van, get out of the van, find my tools. I can get it from either direction. And I think that's going to be more helpful, but I think it's also safer in terms of not having to get out of the vehicle and risk getting hit by another vehicle on a highway or something like that. So that's the test on your tread. You want to take a penny, and if the head of Lincoln is buried in the depth of your tire tread, then you're probably good on not having to change your tires for a while. These tires are actually in very good shape. The question is, if you take a 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 mile trip, is your vehicle capable of getting you from point A to B to C and so on safely? And that requires you planning whether or not to get your vehicle serviced, or whether or not it's a 50-mile trip. You had the service done, maybe a month ago, and you've only got 800 miles on the vehicle. Between getting it serviced a month ago and now, taking a 50-mile trip might be fine. I'm taking a 6,000 to 7,000 mile trip, and that requires knowing every inch of my vehicle, understanding when it was serviced, understanding that the hoses, the belts, those type of things are in good shape. My fluids are topped off where I know they're not leaking. My brakes are in good shape. In this case, I bought this Promaster, 2018 Promaster in 2019. And I suspect a 2018 vehicle with that battery coming from the factory may need to be changed. So before I actually get on the road and head west, I'm going to purposely get a new battery so I don't have to deal with a problem when it comes to not being able to start the van in a campground. So your vehicle needs to be serviced, and it really depends on where you're going to be going. If I'm taking this van, it's 2018 Promaster for a trip, and it's going to be 6,000 to 7,000 miles, I need to make sure that every inch of this thing is inspected, that I understand it's going to be safe. I don't want to put this on the road with my life or people in the van traveling with me. I don't want to jeopardize their health, their life. I don't want to cause an accident and hurt somebody else. And so vehicle service and maintenance is very important on a trip like the one I'm taking from Central Florida to Yellowstone.